Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to welcome on stage the last speaker for tonight, Mr. Colin Dale Torres.
Hello, mic test. All right. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I hope everyone's having a wonderful night. Before I begin, I would just like to ask everyone a simple question. Does anyone or does everyone have a favorite song? Show of hands, how many of you know your favorite song right now? Do you all know your favorite songs? Okay, I want one of you guys to come up here and sing. Okay, no, but really, one of the things that I always knew that that would really drive you is when you can look back from your childhood and think of the things that make you happy. Think of the things that makes you passionate about something. So, a follow-up question is, how many of you here um, knows what you're passionate about or has a passion or can confidently say, I am passionate or I really enjoy something? It's strange how that is, right? It's how usually when you might ask these people, or not these people, all of us actually, including myself, um, how you always find that there are, you always might feel confused, conflicted, like what do I even enjoy? What do I enjoy in life? And we always face this question every single time, right? So I want you all, hopefully, just keep in mind that if you do enjoy something, I want you to also place in your mind what might have influenced it. Okay, it might have been a song, it might have been a family member, it might have been a friend, it might have been a teacher, right? Okay, so with that in mind, I shall begin my story. Okay, so who is calling? Okay, so I grew up here. You can say I was born and raised. I have been, you could say around my 20s. I'm in my 20s. And I would say that I am a UAE resident. I am not a UAE citizen. Unfortunately, I really wish I could be. But it's a different thing when you're growing as an expat. Right? It's different. I didn't really grow up back home. I'm from the Philippines. And the life that I had here would be considered a privilege, actually. It's when I compare or when I often go to the Philippines and I look at my life there, like as a way to detox, detox from the from the city life, I do look back and I really hone in and I appreciate everything that I have here. Like I have internet. That's one of the things that we never appreciate. When you go to the Philippines, whoa, internet. It seems like the speed will just never reach you sometimes. And it's with all of that that I really grow accustomed to really appreciating the smallest things in life. I grew up going to an international school, hence my unusual accent, I guess. I wouldn't say I have a Filipino accent, but I did grow up in that space. And you could say, just like Ms. Tulamo, I had a science upbringing. So I grew up with a lot of math, a lot of numbers, a lot of numbers, which is something I really did enjoy. And I never once thought that I would go somewhere here. I thought I would be an engineer. I thought I would be someone who would be all in the labs, wearing lab coats and doing all that stuff, doing all that stuff. And along the way, my dad actually he had a career path change. My dad was also an electronic engineer. He studied in Mapua University, those of you who know where that is. And I grew up with his influence, as well as my mom. Both of them were engineers. And I guess that's where I kind of got inspired by. And so when my dad had his career shift, he started to bring around his camera. He's using a camera right now. But when he had that career shift, I, in a way, took in that inspiration from him. It's always around you, right? Sometimes the things that might inspire you are those you never notice, right? So doing that and having him a part of my life, I saw him as really someone to look up to because it's someone you spend time with every day. You look at him working, and um, you really get to see values that you might not get to see anywhere else. The people who really do matter the most to you are the people who are with you for life. For example, for Max, I'm sure your family, when you were going through your breast cancer, like I can't believe it happens to males sometimes, but yeah, I sympathize for you. Man. It's so great to see you still alive. But yeah, like it's in times like these where you really have to appreciate all the things that come by. And well, for me, it was my family, it was my dad. And um, to go along with that, my mom, on the other hand, on her respect, she was always a person who was always into self-improvement, always wanting to improve herself. She herself, just like Blum, from, she pursued something in image consultancy. She was into branding, trying to improve other people through her example, through being a role model. And I really took that initiative with them, from them, actually. And along the way, so where that all led up to is when I went to school, I ended up being a leader in my classroom. I tried to go for presidency. I tried to do all of these things. And I then had a chance to bring my camera to school sometimes, taking a bit of pictures here and there. And from one thing leads to another, people get inspired by me. I remember I met a friend of mine a month ago. He told me that, Colin, you were one of the legends back in high school. You were this guy who was taking pictures, doing what you loved. And I said, are you serious, bro? You're saying you're inspired by me? Like, how did that happen? Like, well, because I had a camera at home, but I didn't really know how to use it, but because I saw you. Because I saw you doing these things in school. Like, you just did what you wanted to do. And I said, whoa, I was able to make an impact. And it's interesting how just by being yourself and exuding this type of authenticity is where you can really inspire others. When they know that you aren't putting on a face for everyone, right? It's like in these moments, it's like you really are not sure of. It's like you're really not sure of what's the point I'm trying to get across. Yeah, it's in those times when you just realize that you can really make a difference, right? So um, some of the slides that just passed by is how can you even start to appreciate things? How can you start to be passionate about something? Um, for me, that would really be appreciating life and all its wonders, right? My path to photography started with this. It started with looking more so at people. I really enjoy meeting people. I enjoy hearing their stories. I enjoy seeing what drives them, their favorite songs, their favorite personalities, their jobs, what drives them, their family members. There are always so many depths that people have, and it is with that appreciation of life, right, and its wonders is one of the things that does drive me to become the best version I could be, not only for myself, but for the people around me. Um, there was this, what do you call it? There was this quote I heard from, I think it was Mahatma Gandhi, who said was, be the change that you want to see in the world. I think it was him. He probably popularized it. Yeah, he probably popularized that, right? And he really spoke, or that was one of the things where if you knew what Mahatma Gandhi did, he did this hunger strike thing, and he really stood for something, right? And that is just an example of what can be inspiring, right? How you can bring about a change in the world just by being your authentic self, right? If you can fully say that I am being who I am now because I chose to be here and that you enjoy it, you can really learn to appreciate life, right? Okay. So, and so what I feel like was an integral part of my journey was how I've been given opportunities to give back to my community, to give back to my local Filipino community. Um, my parents were, I would say, paragons or pioneers rather of the place of here. They ran this club called the Filipino Computer Club. And what they would do is weekly uh, we would be teaching the less privileged Filipinos. And this started off in 1996. And they would be teaching them the basic IT skills. And back in those days, Microsoft Excel was just starting up. And everybody was so in, like, let's get into IT, let's get into all of these things. And so my parents were the pioneers of that. And I really took it upon myself to somehow strive and really make that part of an impact to other people. Not only just by my excellence or me being well at what I do or me doing great. It's more of being able to be that person who can get others to also be the same way, right? So along the way, using my photography and all, I was able to just take some pictures of some events. Some people want their portfolios done. Some people wanted their family graduations, or just these simple things, right? These simple things that I was able to do. They may be very simple, true, but I felt like I was making my own difference by doing what I could do for those around me. Right? I felt like I was being myself, and that was really something that I found self-fulfilling. So, right? Right? And one of the things that I really, if there's anything I want to impart on on everyone today, is that there is a joy. There is a joy in helping others to find themselves. Right? You can just share stories or listen to them. And I know that for me, I haven't really talked too much about fashion photography, but it's or fashion in general. But I did have some opportunities as well. Some pictures I showed upon were some of my own shots, and I remember the reason why I got into this in the first place was because of an initiative from, I would call him Kuya. You guys know what Kuya means? Kuya means is like an elder brother. He was a Kuya. He went up to me and he said, "Yo, Colin, by the way, I'm hosting this free workshop. I would love for you to come." I said, "Oh, okay, that's pretty cool." So I went there, and that was my first time that I ever got to experience fashion. Fashion for the first time. I was in the presence of models, and I felt so humbled. I said, "Oh, I was probably 17 at the time." Like these models were there, they were all in their thing. There were so many studio lights. There were, uh, yeah, my photographer friends, not even photographer friends, my photographer superior. He was showing me all the ropes. Like, okay, Colin, you need to do these things, do these settings. This is what you have to look for. This is the angle you got to show. This is how you're supposed to get the model to look right, or things like that. And in a sense, I felt like he was really enjoying that part. I saw that his eyes were lighting up because he felt like he was making a difference in my life. Because I was really happy. I was having joy. I was having fun. Like, yo, this is something that I have always been doing since I was younger. And now I've been given an opportunity again to um, become better in that sense, right? To follow this path that I am now, well, undertaking. So, yeah. And with that, uh, with all of that in mind, I will leave you all with that quote again that I said earlier, like, to be the change that you want to see in the world. But I will add on to that and say that you can find happiness, right? You can find happiness in in having that change, right? In doing the best that you can be for yourself. But I do believe that you can find fulfillment, right? You can find fulfillment in doing that and being the best for other people as well as serving God. Over to you.